Joseph Pulitzer was born on April 10, 1847, in Hungary. He was a very important person in the world of newspapers. He moved to America when he was 17 years old. He didn't know much English, and he had to work hard to learn the language. At first, life was difficult for him. He worked as a clerk, a soldier, and even a farm worker. But he always wanted to work in journalism. Joseph's first job in the United States was as a reporter for a newspaper in New York. He worked hard and quickly learned about American life. He was a good reporter because he was curious and wanted to understand everything he saw. He wrote about politics, social issues, and the lives of everyday people. People began to notice him because his stories were different. They were clear, interesting, and sometimes even shocking. Joseph did not only report what people wanted to hear, but he also reported the truth, even if it upset powerful people. This made his stories more honest and valuable to his readers. In 1878, Joseph Pulitzer bought a newspaper called the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. It was a small paper at the time, but Joseph worked hard to make it better. He wanted to give people more news and stories that were important to them. He used his newspaper to tell the truth, even when it was difficult for people in power to hear. He didn't mind upsetting powerful people if it meant telling the truth. Joseph wanted to make sure that everyone, not just the rich or powerful, had access to important information. One of Joseph's most important changes in the newspaper business was the way he used pictures. Before his time, newspapers only used words to tell stories. But Joseph thought that pictures could help people understand stories better. He wanted to make the newspaper interesting and easy for everyone to read. His newspapers started to show pictures of events, people, and things happening in the world. This was something new, and people loved it. The use of pictures made newspapers much more engaging. It helped people who could not read well to still understand the important news stories. Joseph also believed that newspapers should care about their readers. He wanted newspapers to be full of stories that were important to people's everyday lives. He wrote stories about the poor, the sick, and the people who didn't have a lot of money or power. Joseph thought that everyone should have the right to know what was happening in the world. He believed that a good newspaper should speak for the people, not just the rich and powerful. He wanted to give a voice to the voiceless, helping people who were often ignored by others. His work focused on the lives of ordinary people and helped shine a light on the problems they faced every day. Another important idea that Joseph Pulitzer had was that newspapers should be independent. He didn't want his newspaper to be controlled by political parties or powerful business people. He wanted his newspapers to give honest news, even if it made some people angry. This idea made his newspapers very popular with everyday readers. People trusted him to give them the facts without hiding anything. Joseph Pulitzer believed that independent journalism was the key to a free society. He understood that people needed to hear the truth, no matter how difficult it might be. Joseph Pulitzer's ideas were very important to the newspaper industry. He changed how newspapers worked and how they looked. His newspapers became some of the most famous in the United States. They included the New York World and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. These newspapers became known for their hard work, their strong writing, and their dedication to truth. Pulitzer was not afraid to take risks and fight for what he believed was right. He believed that newspapers could be powerful tools for change, and he used his papers to bring attention to important issues. But Joseph Pulitzer didn't just change the way newspapers worked. He also cared about journalism as a profession. He wanted to make sure that journalists were trained and that they had the skills to write well and tell important stories. He started a special prize called the Pulitzer Prizes. The Pulitzer Prizes are given every year to the best journalists, writers, and photographers. These prizes are a very important part of the journalism world, and they continue today. The Pulitzer Prizes are given for many types of journalism, including news reporting, photography, and writing. Winning a Pulitzer Prize is one of the highest honors a journalist can receive. Joseph Pulitzer's creation of these prizes helped to raise the standard of journalism worldwide. Joseph Pulitzer's work and ideas helped shape the future of journalism. His newspapers grew bigger and more successful. He showed the world how important it is to tell the truth and to give people news that helps them understand their world. His work changed the way newspapers were written, printed, and sold. Today, many of the ideas that Joseph Pulitzer had about journalism are still important in the world of newspapers. He believed that newspapers should be exciting, truthful, and full of stories that matter to people. His influence on journalism is still felt today, and many journalists continue to follow the example he set. Joseph Pulitzer passed away on October 29, 1911. Even after his death, his work continued to have a big influence on the newspaper industry. His ideas about truth, independence, and the importance of caring about people's lives are still part of journalism today. The Pulitzer Prizes that he started continue to recognize the best in journalism, helping journalists around the world to do their best work. Joseph Pulitzer's legacy lives on through the journalists who continue to fight for truth and honesty in their work. Joseph Pulitzer's life shows that one person can make a big difference in the world. He started with very little and worked hard to achieve great things. He believed in the power of words and pictures to change people's lives. Today, his legacy lives on, and his name is remembered as one of the most important figures in the history of journalism. Pulitzer proved that with hard work, determination, and a desire to make the world better, anyone can leave a lasting mark on the world. He changed the way we see journalism and showed how powerful it can be in shaping society. Joseph Pulitzer's work reminds us that the truth is worth fighting for, no matter the cost.